Hello everyone, this is Alex Louis, part-time adjunct here. I'm going to follow up with my Angular course. I know I've been out of the limelight for a little bit. It's been a huge gap. Problem is I came down a couple of health issues, but I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about how good I'm feeling today because I'm back, and I'm hoping to post more videos now that I am back. My voice is almost 100%. I would say it's about 90, 85%. And let's get right to it. So when we are going to install Angular, we are going to do a couple things. And I've already done this, and I don't want to repeat it because I do have a couple videos that do this already. But I think you guys can, I'm going to put links on this YouTube video so you can check out my previous videos on how to install Node.js. But it's not that hard. I can walk you through it. I'm not going to install it myself. I will just walk you through it. So you want to go to nodejs.org/en/download, and you would choose whatever platform you're at. So you choose Windows or Mac. I'm a Windows guy. Once you choose Windows, you choose 64-bit. It's going to download this MSI file, and then you're going to go ahead and install it. So what basically you're installing, and I come from a .NET background, is you're basically installing a NuGet, a command line NuGet, where you can use to download frameworks or any other type of module or packages that you want to use. In this particular case, we're actually going to download the Angular CLI, which is a standard out there for creating your Angular projects. So once you do that, you would double click on it. It's going to ask you to install. And again, my video on Ethereum actually covers this, because with Ethereum I had to download a couple of things. You have to use npm to download a couple of things, and then that's the first step. That's the first step. Once you download npm, what I'd like you to do is install something called Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code is a good editor for Angular and TypeScript. And it allows you to basically write your TypeScript code and also view your structure, your folder structure, once you download the project of your Angular code. So why don't you go ahead and do that as well. So Visual Studio Code, you would just probably look it up. Let's go on Google. So Visual Studio Code, download. Okay, so here you go. So you'd go to download Visual Studio Code. You go to Windows. You'd say user installer, 64-bit, and then eventually, once you go through and install it, you'll end up with this, and you're able to open up. So now, once you install that, so those two things that you're gonna install, npm and your editor. So we got that covered. We're gonna install the Angular CLI. So the CLI is used to create an application that already works, which is just follows best practice. We're actually going to use npm to do that. So what I've done, I wonder if I can go all the way back. Okay, so I did install. So all you got to do is, once you open up your command line window, and if you don't know how to open this, you just go to search and then type in cmd. Make sure you run it as an admin, so run as administrator. You'll get this window. And what I did is I don't remember if I had installed an old version, so I just cleaned the cache for the CLI and I installed it. I reinstalled the CLI. So you run this command. Oops, I'm sorry. That sucks. So you'd run this command here, which is npm install global. That's what the G stands for. And then @ Angular CLI. And what that'll do is it'll install the CLI package and allows you to create new applications for Angular. And then it puts in all the environment variables for you. That's the -G. So once you do that, it's going to actually take a little while. And you see that here it installed Angular 7, right? And now you have the ng command available. So if you type in ng, you should get a couple of commands available to you, which are the CLI commands, which you can use. Okay. Now, if you type in ng and you're not getting this, that means you did not install it correctly. So you may want to take a look at how or what happened when you did npm install it. It should say if there's something wrong, it'll tell you there's an error somewhere along the line. If you did it right, it should look similar to this. With warnings are okay, errors are not. So you would see an error. So once you do that, let's see. Okay, so let's go down. All right. Next thing you want to do is you want to cd yourself into a directory where you want to create your first application. So for example, I created my first application under this directory here. This is a course I'm teaching right now, which is under my OneDrive. So I created so this is my root, right? Well, this is my root of all my apps, okay, for this particular week. And for this week, I'm going to create an app called First App. So what I did was I typed in ng space new and then the name of my app. And that will fetch your structure to create your first Angular project. And it's like magic. It just automatically works where you can just run it off the ground. You don't have to really do it. I mean, you have to do a couple little things, but that's what I'm going to show you in this video. So once you do that, it's going to ask you, do you want to add Angular routing? You say yes. And then it says which style sheet format you want to choose. There's going to be a selection. You would click on, you would use your arrow keys, select CSS, and then off to the races you go. Which if you get a warning, that's okay. Then after you do that, you want to go into your root directory, which is under first. So you'd want to cd into your first app. So you'd want to go into here. And that's where I'm actually currently at here. Where is it? Well, let's type. Okay, so you see here in my Windows box, I'm already in my first app. Okay, which means I'm currently here. Now, when I open up Visual Studio Code, what you want to do is you want to go to File, Open Folder, and then you'd open your First App folder. Once you select the folder, it's going to select everything underneath, and that's where we'll show all the Angular specific folders and files that you will see. Okay, and then once you do that, if you just want to start out your project, okay, then you would say ng serve. Wait, sorry. You would say, give me a minute. My microphone's in the way. Type in ng serve and make sure that you are under the directory of where your app was downloaded into, not at the root, the folder above it, because then you're gonna get an error. So you would cd into. So in my case, I cd'd into my first app, which means I'm under this folder. And then once you go in that, on the command prompt, you would just click you would just type enter, and that would automatically run your Angular CLI. It'll open up a server, localhost, which you can run. Now it's going to compile your code, and it's going to say that it's listening on localhost 4200. So what you want to do is you want to take that. So it says compiled successfully, so that's good. You want to take that link. If it's not going to open up a browser window automatically, if those of you that are used to Visual Studio and all that, you're gonna have to copy and paste that local host because your server is running on 4200, and you would just press enter, and then there you go. That's your first time. Now I made some modifications to this, so yours may look a little different. It's gonna have a couple links there for Tour of Heroes and all that. Don't worry about that. We're gonna get to this point where we're gonna write a Hello World app using components, but I'm gonna leave that for the next video. I'm gonna touch upon what couple things mean here, so that you it's a bit intimidating as to all the files that you have available. But I'm gonna help you focus on the ones that are important. We'll eventually get to what you want to know about certain files, but I'm not gonna get into all of them, because right now, for you to start actually learning and coding, because that's basically what I think the way that I approach things is a hands-on approach, a little bit of theory that you need to know, but I'm not gonna bombard you with all the theory right now. So if you once you do that, you'll have your first app and you'll see that it's running. Okay. So next video I'm gonna post on is I'm gonna create a new component, and I'll tell you what a component is and all that on the next video. So stay tuned. Glad to be back. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow the channel. I got about 250 subscribers. Trying to get to 1,000 before. I set a goal of 1,000 before the summer starts. So if you can subscribe, tell your friends. Always free. Never any ads. So you're gonna notice that all my videos have no ads. Why? I believe in free education. Not because I'm a socialist. I'm a capitalist at heart. But never any ads. Just like sharing my education, and I like sharing knowledge. So hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Part-time adjunct out.